welcome to the annual Sundance Intercut Awards here on the channel, where we are discussing all of the good in movies. Honestly, there was some TV. We got some shorts, all of the good stuff that have come out this year. All of its
entertainment.
It is some of the most beautiful things that we're going to be talking about a year from now, and we are here breaking everything down in our annual Sundance Awards. We have recorded our top 10.
Yes.
We have recorded individual reviews.
Yes.
We have recorded everything but hours of sleep.
Yeah.
So we pretty much have everything. I'm your co-host Arturo Zurita, joined as always. I am here with Amanda and Zach, who have been watching over 50 movies here at the fest to break down everything you need to know. How's it been for you guys?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm not holding my microphone. Where's my microphone?
It's been an interesting Sundance.
That's
for
how
sure.
long
As you can
it's
see,
been.
that's how long it's been.
long. We are on the last day of movies here.
Yeah.
We are going to wrap up this live stream at some point and go catch our last
Just
in-person
don't stop,
screening.
bro. Like, we're covering movies to cover more movies.
Yeah.
Just because we have so much. This has been a year of really good performances, really good scripts, really good just screening and just festival vibes in general. And that's where we're going to start it off right off the bat, going into the supporting actors of this year, because this has been a year that has had some really good performances, either in A Different Man that had some really interesting stuff from Adam Pearson, who we have been arguing on where we would have placed him. We have been arguing about the new Sundance Queen. I think it's Dali De Leon because she's been in multiple projects this year. And then we've even had a couple of other good ones that we're going to be mentioning in the up and coming. But I think for this year's supporting actors, we have our top 5 with Chiwetel Ejiofor in a little movie called Raw Peace that this man also produced. And he's starring in here in a really good supported role. Oh, and he directed. That's right.
Yeah.
So it's been really cool to see a lot of multi-hyphenates coming into the fest, and he clearly got a spot right there at number 5.
Yeah, I mean, I think his performance is one of the things that does really stand out about the movie, because he's really it's a very felt performance.
Yeah.
It's hard to watch that movie and not see the anguish he's going through and feel that performance. To me, it's a movie that didn't stand out that much to me, but his performance is one of the things that did.
Absolutely.
That's really good. Another one, we were talking how personal it gets for a lot of people. Actually, no, this is a little different. I'm confusing the Chris's here. Chris Sullivan, character actor who's been in a lot of really big stuff, some smaller stuff. He came in for a movie called Presence and knocked it out of the park when it comes to the family members who were dealing with some crazy stuff.
He says the line that tied it together for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and just kind of the dad we all hope we could be.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And the one that you might not expect based on he's this big kind of hulking man, but he's so sensitive. Yeah.
Shout out Lucy Liu. I thought you were great. People didn't
She was also
she was
great.
Purposefully a problem in the movie.
She was purposely a problem, but it was so much.
But he was the heart of the family. Without him,
Yeah.
you don't
There's
get the
nothing,
movie.
yeah.
We had another performance that some people were split on, but even if the voice grades you a little bit, Carol Kane, Zach, talk about why she was incredible in Between the Temples.
I mean, I think Between the Temples allows her to kind of be all the interesting aspects of herself, because she's a little bit kooky. She's a little bit aggressive in certain situations, but she's also just very funny. And I think it's just such an interesting performance from her that allows her to be dramatic and allows her to be hilarious, and uses all of her great aspects as an iconic actress.
There's a crazy scene, dinner scene, and just the fact that everyone's imploding and she goes, tea for timeout. The way she just handles things is great. But then we have our top 2 from A Different Man, a movie that we did not think would get her an award, but scooped up something where we didn't even know she spoke English just fluently, much less was able to control it. I'm going to let you say it.
I think it's Renate Reinsve. I think.
Reince?
Reinsve?
So where we did the
Reinsve?
Australian thing, when I
Reinsve?
say Renata, you say...
Renate. I think it's Renate, but it's like the Reinsve? I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
I'm going to call
The
her
Norwegian actress from The Worst Person in the World.
who
Yeah,
played
her.
Ingrid in A Different Man. She was great in Handling the Undead.
Yes.
Or I should say good, because we were
think-
really anticipating that one. She's not bad in it,
I think she's really good for what she was given to work with.
Yeah, those movies' problems are not hers.
but it's
Yeah.
the supporting role here as Ingrid, where she really is like the root of the movie, what's happening with her lead actor, and then how she ends up finding another actor and putting this play together, and just what her character doesn't know is what really makes the story. So in our number 2 spot, Renate Reinsve. Hopefully I'm saying that
I think.
correctly.
Yeah. No, she does a really good job sort of balancing between being this alluring figure and then ultimately a foil. And she's just a little unpredictable.
Did you get a little bit of Emma Stone in The Curse?
I can hear that.
Where she
yeah.
kind of
little
wants
bit.
to like do this profound play, but
Yeah.
in
It's
reality,
It's my character.
yeah,
You know?
exactly, yeah.
She never admitted.
And her sort of
you
like
know?
ethical grandstanding at certain points. Yep.
Well, what you think she's doing? Bet number one here for best supporting actress needs to come from a role that's in the movie Exhibiting Forgiveness, a movie that really stood out to me. So I'm championing this one in the awards. Ingenue Ellis. She may have not gotten something for her leading role, which you would argue for in Origin from last year, but here I think she gives the biggest performance in the movie when it comes to our main character doing what the title says, which is exhibiting forgiveness. And it's a big through line in this movie where you may want to forgive the person who did something wrong, but many times you're busy blaming the other people who allowed it, not even the perpetrator. You're almost just as mad as the people who allowed it to happen. So for me, Ingenue Ellis Taylor is the best performance from Sundance 2024. Moving on to some of the other categories. These are some of the best supporting, but Zach's going to take it away with what we consider the up-and-comers from Sundance. And
Yeah.
we have a good track record.
We do. I mean, look, this is one of the things that's exciting about being at a film festival in general, but especially one like Sundance, which debuts so many new films from new filmmakers and stuff like that, is that you get a lot of discoveries. You get either actors who just haven't been in anything before and are suddenly like beloved, or you get actors who maybe had smaller parts in a bunch of different things, and then they're given the big stage finally at the Sundance Film Festival. So among our choices for up-and-comers from this year's Sundance, we got to go back to Exhibiting Forgiveness and Ian Foreman, who's another one of the actors who appeared in two
Little tiny
movies
roles.
He
at
was,
Sundance.
yeah, and he did in both. Great.
He's a young Andre Holland in Exhibiting Forgiveness, and then a young Justice Smith.
Right?
In I Saw the
So,
TV Globe.
so he's the junior.
He gets
He's
the
the junior.
Sophia Lillis
To our
Award.
yes, exactly. To our better performances of the year.
Exactly. But yeah, just an actor who showed up in a couple great movies, so hopefully a lot more to come from him. Lily Collias, I know, stood out to you a lot for her work in Good One, and
Got that one scene.
the whole film kind of rests on her face.
That one scene, yeah.
So it's a performance that you have to be able to do a lot of subtle acting, face acting, and stuff like that to carry it, and she certainly stands out in that role. Preeti Panigrahi
From the World Dramatic.
Yes, from the film Girls Will Be Girls, which we just watched this morning. It's a
Yeah.
last minute
There you
addition
go.
for us, but really, really holds her own. And
Yeah, for sure.
I think so much of the drama is in watching her trying to navigate these situations. I think
Yeah.
she's really, really incredible in it.
Also won an award at Sundance. I think they gave her a special jury one. So
Okay,
nice.
there we go.
Cool.
shout out to her.
So yeah, the Sundance jury agrees with us.
Our top two.
Yeah, let's talk about Isaac Wong from Dee Dee, the coming of age film that we all really, really
Yeah,
loved.
yeah.
And the coming of age movie rests on that main performance.
It does.
You wanting to stick with him and or empathizing or relating to it. And, I think he's able to embody all the awkwardness of that adolescent period, the eagerness combined with being nervous as well. And you never. He's never too much of anything. He just feels like
Oh, sure, yeah.
a collection of all the emotions you're going through.
Authentic.
That's, very authentic in the role for
You
sure.
got to give him credit too, because what does this kid know about the 2000s?
Yeah.
right.
Like that's the one
Well,
thing.
that's
I'm
the one
like,
thing he said in the interview. He was like, honestly, you think, and it's like really not that different. At the end of the day, it's like
That's an actor.
all teenagers are teenagers, Like
He was saying the biggest difference is that he had to hit a button 3 times to type L on the phone.
yeah, that's and the struggles, man.
the range this boy has. He is the future.
Range.
He did really good there. But our number one.
Yeah, we went with Maisie Stella from My Old Ass, somebody who, as far as we know, hasn't been in a feature film before this.
Bit like TV, some music,
Yeah.
but
Absolutely just held the stage in My Old Ass. She's just pops off the screen. She's so fun and silly and free, and I think it's just the kind of performance that has so much like personality and attitude towards it that
Yeah.
you feel like you know the character within an instant.
Absolutely.
And really helpful for a movie like this. So yeah, Maisie Stella, definitely a lot more to look out for her.
easily. I know you guys like the kids from Presents. You
I
thought
did.
they were kind of decent. I like the kids from In the Summer as well. But Maisie Stella, I think she's gonna have a future. When you have
Oh,
Aubrey
yeah.
Plaza under the wing,
Yeah,
you're gonna
you're
do
gonna be
pretty
good,
well. So those are
Yeah.
our Intercut up and comers. Let us know what your favorites were down below or in the live chat as we wrap our third category over here, which is everything when it comes to a movie. We're not hearing these. We're not smelling them. We're seeing them,
seeing
and
them.
we had some of the best cinematography of the year. Amanda, take it away.
So yeah, it was a pretty stacked category. We had a hard time limiting it down. Even things like Sasquatch Sunset, Exhibiting
you.
Forgiveness, Different Man, Outrun. While not the strongest movie, still good. But
It looked nice, yeah.
we got it down to a top 5. It was a little bit of a fight, but we got there. So in the 5th position, we went with Love Lies Bleeding. This was definitely one of the ones I was fighting for, but I do think it has a very distinct vibe and look, and it nails the fact that it feels like it's from that like 80s turning into the 90s. So I think that it's amazingly shot. They do some really cool stuff with red lighting. Big fan of that.
I had argued that it was like a Coen Brothers movie.
It looks like
I know
it.
that's a
It's
lot of praise to
gritty.
give
It's
something,
gritty.
but it
Yeah,
looks.
my comparisons were more to like David Cronenberg or Nick Refn, but just
Some
Oh,
dry
that's
stuff,
fair.
yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
bringing up all of those filmmakers, like they're all filmmakers who bring a certain level of visual panache to
Yeah.
their film. So like it's obviously in a class.
It's in a class.
Yeah,
and
that
it's very
should be
comfortable.
celebrated.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Then there's one that didn't quite hit as hard for me as a movie, but there's no denying the cinematography of In a Violent Nature. We were talking about it earlier about how you're expecting camera to start getting obstructed by twigs or random branches or grass, but they had that mapped out perfectly. It wasn't just like just walk randomly and aimlessly. They had it mapped. It is beautiful. It's shot super well. Just the camera angles that you get behind people's heads or when
Nasty.
somebody's listening, it both feels voyeuristic and not at the same
Yeah.
time. It's very well done.
Very
There's no
uncomfortable.
denying it.
Kill
Then
of the year. Kill of the
Yeah,
year.
Kill of the
and the
year
Kill
for
of the
sure.
Year,
I
of
mean,
course.
it's simultaneously almost like a nature documentary and a slasher. and
Exactly.
getting both and getting them both effectively
is hard
work.
and good, yeah. Then in third, this is one that we all really loved. It's What's Inside. That's Kevin Fletcher did that one. It's just so cool. Just the way that it's shot, just like there's like the Brady Bunch scene, all the different colors that are being used, not just to have cool colors, but are directly impactful to the plot itself. Is
narratively.
very cool. It just has it's a distinct vibe that maybe you could compare to something like a Bodies, but it's actually using those vibes for the movie itself. So very, very cool. Big
What did it
fan.
for us was that car scene at the beginning when they're driving and they
Dude.
do a tilt, and we went, okay.
Yeah, I saw the tilt. I think
I'm
in my
in.
note it's like tilt. I was like, let's
Yeah.
go. They did it.
There's a lot of new people here too, especially this next guy, just
Yeah, brand new guy.
up and comers.
Brand new guy. Steven
He
Soderbergh.
shoots too many of his movies.
Wow,
Damn.
yeah. Steven
Yeah, man.
Soderbergh actually shot Presence, and it is a movie that the premise itself is very cool, but the premise is really baked into the cinematography itself. It is how it is shot. That is such a cool part of the movie.
Totally. And one of the things that's fun, especially knowing that it is a Steven Soderbergh movie and he likes to be the cam op on a lot of
Yeah.
his movies, is just imagine Soderbergh running around that
Yeah,
house.
exactly. It's a very, very cool
I did.
voyeuristic. Yeah, it's a very cool voyeuristic thing. But luckily, they put it on a very steady cam, so it doesn't feel like you're just
did.
like, but very good. So it had to be in cinematography because again, so much of what that makes that movie
For sure.
is the cinematography. But we had to give it to I Saw the TV Glow, Eric
Yeah.
Eric Huey.
Bruh, last
so
year.
good.
Last year already stole it with the 1001.
Yeah?
When we heard about how they did that scene in New York running through like
Whoa.
the arrows, and they're like, yeah,
Which
it
same
was just
street?
a cameraman running down the same street.
So good.
Magic here.
It's magic. So much of this just pops in so many exciting and fun ways that I'm sure is a collaborative effort between Eric and Jane. But you can't deny that just that tracking shot through the hallway of the school. Just so many very distinct moments in the visuals of this movie. So we had to give it the best cinematography award of the year.
One of the few films here where you see it and you feel like it instantly looks iconic.
Yes.
We all have a shot. Mine is the TV one.
TV's great. TV is
The hallway
great.
one's sick though.
The hallway
Like,
one's sick.
When
It's good
When
vibes.
the music hits.
Yeah, that's
and
what I
the
mean.
text,
It's just, and it hits in.
Give us a third, Zach.
Ice Cream Man.
Like
Ice
there's so
Cream
many,
Man,
bro.
yeah.
Yeah, I saw TV Glow. Best.
Ice Cream Man
best,
1 or
best
2?
One.
Probably one.
It has to be one. Too
Yeah.
funny, but
Yeah.
it's got to be one. Looking at this right here, that is our first section of our Intercut Awards. We're very curious to know what y'all are thinking in the comment section. We see that there's a bunch of people mentioning different ones, especially as they're watching at home, which I think is really awesome. I know people are really excited for Dee Dee. People are loving Daughters, which is another one that we're going to have in a category coming up. But as we get to the midway point, any thoughts y'all want to add before I hit you? With the Cineclash Sundance trivia that I got for these two right here. As I set that up, let me know your thoughts so far on any other categories, any other stuff dealing with Sundance.
Ooh, I mean, we didn't talk at all yet about the actual Sundance Awards that they
Yeah,
gave out
yeah.
because, sometimes they feel like the appropriate choice and then sometimes they are a little bit confusing.
Yes.
This wasn't the most confusing
No,
set of
it was
awards that we've
mixed.
seen, but there were some that we were a little surprised by.
Yeah.
Obviously, Daughters being the big one of the festival makes a lot of sense
Yep.
because that is a powerful, powerful movie,
Yes,
a really
absolutely.
well executed documentary that we're
Yeah.
going to talk about a little bit later. In the Summers, picking up the award for U.S. Grand Jury. I think we all like the film,
Yeah,
maybe a little
absolutely.
bit more than the two of us.
I was looking forward to the
Big
cast.
fan,
I
yeah.
got to be there for the premiere. If I didn't post that, they might have not won. So
That's
like,
Right?
true.
you know,
that's true.
Shout out
man.
them, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's an effective movie about these young women who it kind of jumps through time as they grow up with their dad and sort of seeing the evolution and how their dad acts and maybe having developing bits of like jealousy over how they were treated. I don't know. It's very 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 interesting film. Not the film that when I saw it, or at least saw some of the other ones, I was expecting for the prize because we were expecting it to go to maybe a Didi or
Right.
a Real Pain or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. I'm actually surprised a Real Pain didn't pick it up. Honestly,
Yeah,
but
it did pick up the screenwriting award.
It did, yeah. Deserved.
Which we will talk more about what we think in terms of the screenwriting awards in just a little bit.
Right next.
Yeah, but do we
first-
have some trivia?
I got some trivia for y'all. This next one's going to be pretty simple. I got a couple of rounds. It's going to be all stills. I'm going to show you a very simple still from the movie. Viewers at home can already see it from the top. The first to mention it gets it. Name me. You already know it.
I do. That's 10 Lives.
No.
No?
10 Lives is animated.
No.
That's
What's the other? It's the other kids
it's
one, isn't
the-
it?
No.
it's no, I know what it is, but I can't
3.
remember. I can't remember.
2.
I just know. I know that still. I guess
You know, it's out of your mind. It was so
Out of your
close.
mind. Okay, good.
Out of my mind, I think. I don't even
didn't
fully know.
watch it.
There's just 2 family movies. Yeah, out of my mind, that would have been this one right here. I heard a lot of people say that they enjoyed it. None of us saw it. But we did see this next one over here. 3, 2.
Love Lies Bleeding.
Love don't count, I guess. You got you with that one right there. All right. I'm gonna do it completely around and then hit you with this next one. A still from a movie that premiered at this Sundance. I'm gonna have y'all close your eyes real quick. 3, 2, 1.
Your monster.
I don't know what the first one was, but it is your monster. It's a Sasquatch.
I knew it was your monster, but my brain went like.
You see a man covered in that much like excess hair and grime, and you assume he's a Sasquatch,
Yeah, I
but in
was
fact
just
he's
like,
a monster.
Sasquatch
But
monster.
yeah.
Big
That
difference
is-
between
that's
Sasquatches
ridiculous.
and monsters.
I can't
Yeah.
believe this is live. I apologize to those watching at home. All right, last one.
Okay, close
All
your
right,
eyes again.
Zach,
Okay.
It's 2-0, but it's okay. We got a couple of rounds.
Sure.
3, 2, 1.
That is the greatest night in the history of pop.
There you go,
Thank
sir.
you.
There you go, sir.
Thank you. That is coming to Netflix not so long from
Okay,
now.
chill.
You can get a Netflix subscription. I'm joking.
Do we want to name all the actors who showed up in 2 movies at Sundance this year? Because we'd like to point out the.
You will be.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't
the
even, that's
second
what I mean.
round.
I don't
Okay,
even,
I didn't realize
to
we got
me-
multiple rounds. of
Honestly,
trivia. Okay.
honestly,
But-
the actors, I don't even think were as much as some of the like repeating themes or turns of phrases and posters and.
No, actually, the winner is, I won't even spoil it because someone has it as a special category. So let's actually get into those. Before we
Yeah.
get into the documentary, screenplays, and shorts, we have what Sundance likes to do, the special jury prizes. And here we
Right.
have some specialer prizes. I'm going to start off with the special jury prize in stunts. It goes to none other than the, I would call her the female Tom
Tom
Cruise.
Cruise,
of
yeah.
this
Cruise,
year.
yeah.
Thelma. She did her own stunts.
June
She did her
Squibb.
own explosions. June Squibb, at the prime age of 90-something years old, came in.
Car stunts, scooter stunts.
Yeah, but the
Everything.
real thing is the flip over the mattress. At
Yeah,
one
the
point.
flip
That-
over
I
the
thought it was
mattress?
the flip until she pulled that Glock out, and I was like, whoa.
Oh, I know. I don't know, man. Like the chicken with the go karts, not the go
There's-
karts, but the scooter.
Yeah.
Commitment.
That scooter was crazy.
Yeah.
My second special jury award has to go to the best after show, and that would have been all of the Howling. How's it pronounced?
Ooh-wee.
And they claim they hate the movie. So Sasquatch Sunset
We
had
don't
us
hate it.
coming
my list
out.
than you did.
Yeah, but you're hating it in the other categories I wanted it in. I think this has some of the best performances because of the. I can't even do it.
Yeah, I can.
The whooping.
Woo!
It's difficult, but we had people coming out of the screen like we were coming out of a concert. It felt like we left an astral world
It's
over
true.
here.
It's
So
true.
those would be my special jury prizes for what made Sundance for me.
Oh, do you have your special jury
Yeah,
prize?
I'm gonna go with the best theater crowd reaction
Yeah.
and just in general. And I think it is just a bunch of the screenings at the library because I've heard similar things about other movies. But Your Monster just had the most engagement of a crowd that I have been in. There was definitely some other ones where there was screaming in certain moments, reactions to certain moments. No, the Your Monster crowd, they were in for the whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
she does something they don't like, they're booing. they do something she likes, they're cheering. It was a very exciting experience to be a part
It
of.
really does seem like it was the library theater. It was something in the air,
There's
something in
something
the
in there,
water. Because I was there for the world premiere of In a Violent Nature,
Yeah.
and that was
That's
a
midnight
rowdy
too.
crowd. Yeah,
Midnight's always going to be rowdy, but
like lots of like applause
A lot.
during the
Yeah.
kills, and even doing the TIFF thing, the R for the
R.
piracy warning before.
we
which
need more of
kinda
that at Sundance.
Yeah, we
I know
need-
this is supposed to be more prestigious.
No, but we need a
Have
little bit
fun.
more crowd work, a little
Yeah.
more
'Cause it will
audience
it's what makes it
participation.
memorable.
Yeah, exactly.
You all didn't like Hi Sundance?
I didn't
it's the
hear
third
enough
year
people
in the-
doing it. It
That
was
was
just
by
us.
accident. That was
Hi,
just like,
Sundance,
yeah.
it's the third year in a row. Like, I don't know, get a new one. Bring Aquafina back.
So another special jury prize that I wanted to give out is the best New Jersey movie, because a weird thing.
There's a lot of New Jersey movies.
But you walked out yesterday
Yeah.
to go to the bathroom, and the last thing that came, I was like, if I see this New Jersey film strip
Yeah.
logo
Yeah.
icon one more time,
Yeah. A lot of movies, even if they weren't necessarily set in New Jersey, were filmed in New Jersey
Yep.
this year.
too many.
And a couple shout outs to Fort Lee, New Jersey, where I'm from too.
We were watching a movie, and Zach goes, "That's where I live."
Will and Harper. They show my building.
I was gonna say what movie, but
Oh my God.
There's a lot of buildings in Will and Harper. Don't worry. But anyway. So if we're going for what takes the crown for the best New Jersey movie, I mean, part of me wants to go with Rob Peace because that film feels so like integral to the communities in East Orange, and seeing the passage of time and how it affects the communities and stuff like that. I think I responded a little bit more though to Ponyboy.
Okay.
Which is
That's fair.
sort of-
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's set.
Was it the ratchetness?
Exactly right. I'm just a ratchet person, but I
Jersey
think
the movie.
I think they take a little bit more Jersey pride in that movie too. They're constantly talking about
I'm a
their
Jersey cool at
Jerseyness.
heart. I can't
Exactly.
leave Jersey.
That is a quote.
Caitlin wants us all to just be generally closer to the mic. I don't know how the sound is coming through live, but hopefully you
Yeah.
can hear us. And
You
it's
ever
not too
seen how?
crackly. Also, always our audio ends up getting recorded and put out. And
You ever see how Elvis does it?
just trying to.
I'm not gonna show it to you, but I don't know if you know.
I don't know. I feel like
But yeah, there was too many Jersey stuff. I think I counted maybe double digits in Jersey movies.
Yeah.
So, but last
Shout
time I
out
was
to
with
Garden
you,
State.
we drove by, bro. Y'all like the original Hollywood. You have like the museum of the first camera.
Exactly.
So it makes sense.
The first movie studios were built in Fort Lee, New Jersey, not in California,
how did you lose them?
Texas.
And then we did have just like our regular tech awards here, so just some simple ones here in terms of music and sound, kind of combining them all. Y'all really resonated with that Kneecap OST in
good.
particular
Yeah.
because it is the main actors who are also the freaking band.
Totally, yeah. I mean, they have the actors from the actual group Kneecap are playing sort of themselves, I guess we can say.
Pretty much themselves.
And it also does the John Carney thing in that it sort of shows them making the songs and they perform it as they're making them, which is just, it's an easy way to kind of like get you hooked on the
Pumped,
song.
yeah,
or, like,
exactly.
behind the characters. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah. But then there was movies that we're awarding and they didn't even have music, barely any sound, and yet were really effective. In a Violent Nature impresses not only with its cinematography, but there are just kills that without the sound, they're nothing. Like you could probably listen to the sound without the kill, and it'll still be like a top one as well.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna give this what is it, number 4 pick to In a Violent Nature for its soundscape. But soundscape, music, and score.
Ooh.
Honestly, it should be number 1, but we're goofballs who have something else really at the top. Alex G came in for I Saw the TV Glow
Yeah.
and has probably been the most anticipated thing that the Intercuties have been wanting to see. We were told, can you just turn on the Google Hangout? I just want to hear the score.
It's so good.
Let me tell you. This is the best soundscape to come out of it.
Oh, yeah.
It is literally a movie designed to just listen to. They already have an original soundtrack for the entire thing because you know the story.
Yeah, basically, Jane used a portion, so the director used a portion of the budget just to commission songs by their favorite artists and then just use so many of them in the movies for these maybe what feels a little gratuitous overusage in the movie for transition scenes, but
It's
I
the
don't know,
flex.
I like it. It
Yeah.
works and it's a great flex and it's memorable. So I'll give it. But then even just the overall sound is just fantastic.
Phoebe Bridgers and everybody in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 100% one of the standout things. Definitely makes the movie. It should be number 1.
Yeah, it should be. But we'll let you have. We'll let you have.
Zach and I really, really resonated with this little song from Will and Harper that plays during the credits. We were discussing how it also comes from a junior writer.
From Michael Keaton's
Michael Keaton's son. He
son?
wrote a bop.
Yeah.
We can also say who the comedian is, right?
I mean, it's but if you want to just say Yeah, it's a great SNL cast
It's
member.
not that hard to connect,
Yeah.
especially when you see what the director has done before.
Somebody who's done
In
a lot
other
of stuff
movies.
with Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
SNL alum.
Maybe at award shows recently.
When I saw them, I was like, of course this
Yeah,
works. Right?
yeah.
I'm like, they're at the award shows together all the time. That Will and Harper song is beautiful. We hope it makes it all the way until next year because it really does have a lot of heart in it and a beautiful jazz section as well. But really, shout out Alex G. That was a fantastic score that he did. And that's the music and sound category. Zach, take it away with your favorite category.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about best makeup and hairstyling and costumes, just generally the aspects of production that we want to highlight from some of these films. Because makeup in particular, I think, was a big factor in a lot of these Sundance movies and a lot of what made them special. We wanted to shout out stress positions, which may not seem like it at first, but John Early just
looked
constantly
disgusting.
covered in flop sweat. The makeup that they wear as well to kind of look glammed out and stuff. I think it's a movie that could be easily overlooked for not necessarily having outstanding technical aspects, but I think the makeup does really accentuate what's going on in that film.
You gave a good point. You even pulled up with the script. You were like, in the script it says.
Exactly. Another one that we want to shout out is handling the undead.
Creepy.
Which, anytime you're dealing with some kind of zombification, you want to have a solid makeup team, but it's the detail in how they executed some of it that I think stood out.
I agree. Like, you can look at somebody and be like, oh, they've been lying on their back, so the blood in their body is pooled to their back. And it's just like subtle little details like that. The way their eyes look, like, it was actually very unsettling. Even though like zombies are so often already gruesome, it was so unsettling.
Plus, they were like super stiff, looked like us at the Echoes waiting outside in the overflow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, handling was, it got that department done right, for sure.
What's my next one? I just missed.
In a violent nature.
In a violent nature.
In a violent nature, of course. I mean, any horror film that is going to feature gruesome deaths, I think you needs to. The makeup can't take you out of it, and this is some of the most gruesome stuff that we've seen at the festival.
There's only one way to put those body parts where those body parts were.
So I mean, outstanding work. As we've talked about before,
Easily.
the nastiest kill that I've seen
Yeah.
in Sundance. A Different Man, which it has to be mentioned here, not just because makeup is kind of like integral to how the story is told, but like in order to do what they do and almost like trick us into believing one actor is a different actor, it's got to be absolutely convincing. You can't doubt it for a second. And yeah, I mean, to transform Sebastian Stan into this man who has all these facial deformities and these tumors growing on his face, I think it's really incredible work.
Works for the story and everything, yeah.
Absolutely. But I think the makeup that stood out the most to us to the fest is Sasquatch.
Did I get it?
Nope, it's cutting there. You went the reverse way with
I
the
went
sound.
the other way, right?
Yeah. Sasquatch Sunset. I mean, they transformed Riley Keough and Jesse Eisenberg into a pair of Sasquatches that are so convincing that it was kind of hard to know which one's Riley Keough and which one's Jesse Eisenberg.
Jesse, I can tell by the eyes.
Yeah, I mean,
Jesse, I could tell by the eye because he had these. There was something. First of all, one of them, the voice was too deep for Jesse. One of them was too small for Jesse.
Yeah.
So by process of elimination, but I'd be like the eyes. I'm like, that's Jesse Eisenberg.
But see,
I swear
would
to you,
get
they're
to that
Sasquatch.
point, and then I would forget which one's which.
That's fair.
Because they look like Sasquatches.
That's what I'm saying. They all
Yeah,
look like
no, they-
Geico like ads.
yeah,
like
the only one that really looked different a lot was the smaller one.
the smaller one.
Yeah. And I was sure that one wasn't Jesse for
Yeah.
a little bit, and then I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
but
because then you're like, maybe they're doing something to make him look shorter.
but like this is a movie that you can watch the entirety of and not know.
No.
Yeah,
Maybe
absolutely.
you'll figure it out, but you might not, which goes a
Riley
long
was-
way to say how good the
Yeah,
actor
Riley
makeup
was
is.
process of elimination only.
Yeah.
And even then, it was like, well, maybe they made Riley the short one.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe
know.
it's Jesse,
Like,
you
When
don't
yeah.
you told me the director was one of them, I was like,
Yeah, the director was the big boy. Big boy.
funny stuff. But yeah, no, that's a good wrap up for the makeup, hairstyling, and even some little costumes in there. But Amanda is very adamant on who the best ensembles was, and even argued for this number one spot. Right
I did
here.
have an argument. Just to mention a runner-up, I'm going to mention Freaky Tales. I know you guys haven't had a chance to
about to?
catch it yet. You're about to, but it is really just really solid performances
stacked.
around. Yeah.
Probably
We'll
got the
tweet if we
most.
disagree with her.
Yeah.
But this had this like,
Retraction.
everyone was here for Pedro.
Yeah, Pedro.
They were lying for Ben Mendelsohn. Jay Ellis, Jack Champion.
Yeah.
All
R.I.P.
the red
Angus
carpet
Cloud.
photographers were ready for Normani.
Dude,
Yeah.
they were out there for
They're
Normani.
not- So it was that one you had to mention at least.
For sure.
But we decided to give our top five a little different. We went with Ghostlight just because it was a very moving ensemble performance
Yeah.
from a real family.
I mean, look, it's about a community theater, and it's
Yeah.
a bunch of actors who are really convincing there. So yeah,
And they're from community theater. too.
Exactly.
I thought she was going to say Steppenwolf, and she's like, I'm from this little theater in Chicago.
Steppenwolf,
But
yeah.
yeah, the fact that it's also a family I mean,
You can't beat it.
Can't beat that.
Then we got stress positions because you are just so locked in with these characters and how they build off of each other and
During
how
COVID?
they fall apart with each other during COVID and kind of getting to the point where they're a little bit sick of what's going on and in New York. So that one felt very strong. Then we've got exhibiting forgiveness, which is what Art's been championing the entire time. We got multi-generational, really kind of like strong performances there with an ensemble cast.
He's almost like ensembling with himself, considering
Yeah.
he gets to talk
Pretty
through
much.
his art to his younger self.
Which is great. Then we had to mention, this is where we kind of had our back and forth a little bit. I will explain why I went with the number one. I think we did decide on a tie between the Temples and It's What's Inside.
Yeah.
Between the Temples is just great. Like everybody who's in this is firing on all cylinders. It's all kind of really, I would say you got Jason Schwartzman and then you got her right underneath, but like barely.
Yeah, kind of co-leads, maybe Jason Schwartzman a little
he
bit
gets
more.
a bit more of the nod just because he's the one you're following the most. But then it's all of these supporting characters from the moms, from like Dolly DeLeon, and I can't remember the other woman's name, but she was
Yeah,
fantastic.
off the top of my head, I can't remember her name, but she's great.
We'll pop
Carol
her.
Kane?
Carol,
No, not Carol Kane, the
Carol
other
Kane,
one.
the other woman,
The
the
mom?
other mom. She's
Carolyn
so nice.
Aaron?
I think that's it. I think that
Yeah.
is her. Yeah.
But then you've got like the oh no, what
Oh,
is
she was
the-
in theater camp
what
last
is
year.
the
That's so funny.
Jewish?
The rabbi,
The rabbi,
Yeah.
thank you, the
Who you
rabbi.
keep
played-
telling me?
Robert Smigel, who
I'm
is
sorry.
also
Yeah.
the voice and arm of Triumph the Insult Comic
There you
Book.
go.
Answers so many
but like
freaking
him
questions.
and then his daughter are really great and build into it. But I made the argument that It's What's Inside is actually the best ensemble cast movie because
Talk
that is a
about it.
movie that lives and dies by its ensemble cast. There, you can't pull people out of that movie and have it not work. You can pull people out of Between the Temples and it's still going to be the same movie. You could have Jason Schwartzman against one other person and it would still be that. You could still make it that movie in a lot of different ways. It's What's Inside. You need great performances from everyone across the board. And that's what we get.
I think if you put the briefcase in Jason Schwartzman, I think you have a knockout movie. Innocent.
There you go. But I'm just saying, I make the argument that it's an ensemble movie.
It's What's Inside is a true ensemble in the sense that they're like maybe there are actors who have a little more screen time than
Yeah.
others, but it doesn't really feel like there are leads
No,
in
like
the
there's
same way
a
that Between
character.
the Temples does.
Yeah, there's like a character that you could argue that you're focusing on a little bit more, and then maybe like a secondary character that's directly related to that one, but it's still such a full ensemble.
That
and
other
you
people are
need it.
getting revelations because the main
Exactly.
character doesn't get the revelation for the audience that happens for somebody else. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'd maybe
need it.
argue a little bit for Between the Temples just in the sense that it's one of those films where like somebody shows up and you immediately know what their
Yes,
character
that's
is.
fair.
And even if they aren't necessarily like more than one scene, that one scene communicates so much about the dynamics and the situation and the place. So
I can feel
And
that.
I would argue for exhibiting forgiveness because it exhibits
forgiveness.
everybody forgiving in the best way possible.
Yeah.
But
Lots of strong categories. Is
it's
the point.
good, yeah.
Lots of outings. Yeah.
And we're still not even getting to our best performances, but a really quick one here in terms of editing. Just going down the list, we had talked about how Dee Dee really puts us into that time period. And then I was finding out in my research, they got the editors of Missing. So the way
Yeah.
searching changed the game, they had that going here for Dee Dee in the early 2000s. Carla Gutierrez for Frida used to be the editor for two of the best documentarians out there. She is now leveled up to be the director of this movie and still got that editing award because she kills it. She brings Frida's paintings to life and the editing is absolutely fantastic. I'm a nerd, so I had to double it up with number 3 being another doc. Please catch soundtrack to a Coup d'etat, bro. It's going to be right there. It's going to be fantastic. But then our top 2 are narratives. We're going with Sophie Marshall's editing for I Saw the TV Glow. When you watch this a second time and you start paying attention to the aspect ratios and when the songs come in, it's just a full story going on there. I don't know if there were edits that stood out to y'all for I Saw the TV Glow, but I thought that the way that movie is put together is speaking volumes. How they match cut, what they cut to, when they mute.
Yeah.
It's firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, that's so much of why we also gave it the cinematography, you know? That's the editing, everything on that movie is really firing on all cylinder for a vision.
I'd probably argue as that number 2 spot being number 1.
That's fair.
Damn, did Amanda come in going, you have to understand the director of It's What's Inside also did the editing. And I would argue
I don't even think I made that argument for this one. You
that
did
the
that all by
editing
yourself.
in this movie is better than the cinematography.
I would agree.
The way that they're able to cut into social media, especially when they're like googly-eyed over Instagram and how people spend that time on their phone, they knocked it out of the park, and that seemed to be like the secondary thing that he had going. If he wanted to make a Black Mirror episode, he'd knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
Just him as his own crew.
Yeah, they're able to communicate a lot about the characters specifically through some of those choices, through how they juxtapose certain things. So yeah, the editing goes a long, long way, and it's What's Inside.
Now we move out of our special jury prizes to 3 more categories before our second round of trivia, which is still really close. But we're splitting this 3 ways between our best documentaries. What are the best in the U.S., the world, and premiere? Zach?
I'll take over the U.S. section first. I want to mention Porcelain War, which is a really interesting film about
hard.
Ukrainian artists who then end up joining the fighting efforts in the war, and just a really great depiction of like what it's like for the people who have chosen to stay, have chosen to try and fight for their lifestyle and their country. And I don't know, I think does a really incredible job of balancing both the humanity and the just fraught nature of the conflict, but without doing it in a way that's necessarily like too downtrodden, because it is also a celebration of the culture that these people have. Yeah. As We Speak, which was your choice for the best documentary from the U.S. category. This is from J.M. Harper,
yes.
I believe is his name. And he follows Kemba as Kemba talks to other people within hip-hop and also scholars of hip-hop and stuff like that about the trend of rap lyrics being used in legal proceedings, in courts, in trials and stuff like that. And I think it's a just fascinating dive into not just the culture that rap emerges from, but also just the strange position that these people are being in, where their art is being criticized in a way that has real world ramifications. So I know you responded also to the globe-trotting nature of the film too. So
very good.
A lot to really appreciate about As We Speak. For me though, I agree with the Sundance jury. My favorite film from the U.S. section of the documentary is Daughters, a incredible documentary about a daddy-daughter dance that happens in a prison, and just the various lives of these family members who have been pulled apart and are given this brief opportunity for a semblance of normalcy. I think it handles the film so empathetically and with such a caring hand. It's really, really incredible and very emotional. So I got Daughters. Amanda, why don't you tell us about the world category?
Okay, so for the world category, we put Eternal You, which is kind of this horrific. If you really think about it, on the surface level, it sounds nice. It's basically using AI to preserve the memories of your loved ones who have passed, whether it be someone older or your child. But that's kind of a really unhealthy thing to do.
It's like a long funeral.
It's a long funeral. You never fully get to grieve the death, and it's probably really easy to delude yourself into thinking that what you're interacting with is real when it's not. And I know that so many of the people that are making it, and you even kind of saw it in the doc, they don't care. They're not actually trying to preserve memories. They're trying to find a way to make money. And what's like a great way to find money in subscriptions? Grief. Things that people will literally be like, if you had to stop the subscription, it would feel like a second death.
Mm-hmm.
And
right? Yeah, nasty.
And you wouldn't want to let yourself do that. There's one thing if your loved one dies. It's another one if you feel responsible for the last piece of them dying. It's very, very interesting, but also quite concerning for larger implications going forward. But then we get Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat. I didn't actually see this one, so I don't know if someone else wants to...
I marked this one over here. This one ended up taking a special jury as well. It is probably the longest movie at the festival at a whopping 150 minutes. But it is pretty much telling you how a bunch of black artists back in the 1960s were pretty much like duped or used to be a part of this big political movement, especially dealing with Africa. And the way that it's edited is insane. There's so much information being thrown at you. It is a standard documentary in that sense, not just for its story, but in the way that it's told. So if you have the time for an 150-minute doc, Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat is really crazy to figure out how the culture, music, was used in political ways without a problem back in the day. But then that number one.
The number one was one of my favorite movies of the festival, actually, in Black Box Diaries, which is a very moving and very hard to watch at times documentary about a woman who has literally been documenting the process of trying to seek justice for her sexual assault. Take that to the furthest level that YouTube's not a fan of us saying. And the way that she starts with the receipts. She has evidence. She has proof of what happened to her. And the way that just because of the person who did it to her is kind of connected, no one wants to listen. We're talking the Japanese police. We're talking like higher political agencies. Everybody is trying to convince this woman that nothing happened to her. And that is terrible. So not only is she documenting this as she goes, kind of live streaming the process, not live streaming, blogging the process and vlogging, she's kind of building her own legal defense around it all too. And it's just this process of trying to find the people that are willing to corroborate the story, stand up for her, help her, who's willing to be on the record and who's not willing to be on the record. And it really kind of also bleeds into that bigger idea of Japanese culture and how they deal with things, and how you could have proof and somebody can still say, why are you standing up and talking about this? You want attention. Why are you making attention out of this? And while it is ultimately quite funny, because so much of her, not quite funny, but her personality comes through a lot in like more lighthearted moments, and it is triumphant overall, you do still kind of have to realize that, like, even if she wins, there's just like nothing changes what happened, but she does take the best outcome out of it, and it does end up feeling very hopeful by the end and triumphant that she managed to make it through the other side, and makes it so that it's like, it would be so easy to say this wasn't even worth it. You don't feel like that by the end. It is worth it. It's worth the struggle that she put up.
I think it's all good. Just heard a little glitch there, but that would be the U.S. premieres, world premieres. I have premieres. They have a whole other category for this, so I'll do these quickly over here. Devo, it was the story of the band where that started off, I didn't realize, as De-Evolution, and eventually became Devo, and they whipped up some pretty good songs. It's composed by the guy who's in the band, and it was actually really surprising to learn about this band that I knew nothing about, that actually started with some serious roots. So if you know nothing about Devo, watch Devo and you might know a little bit. I thought that was pretty good. Zach really liked Girl State because he was very excited coming off of Boy State, which I still think is a little bit of the better one. But even in the differences that we have for this movie that's covering now the Girl State version of these, what'd you call it, summer camps where they're kind of teaching you how to do the government. This is kind of showcasing what Girl State lacks. And while that is a good take to have, it just sadly pales in comparison to what you got to see the boys do. So I think that's my split there. But I would still say that out of the documentaries that were out there, you got to shout out the cast. The girls were watching more movies than we were in those lines.
They're crushing it.
And number one, Will and Harper. You can see where Zach lives in this movie. It's got what we consider one of the best songs, and truly is like the best friendship movie about two of the biggest creatives that we've had around for a while. So Devo, Girl State, Will and Harper.
I got Porcelain War, As We Speak, and Daughters.
And I had Eternal You, soundtrack to a coup d'etat, and Black Box Diaries.
Those are all the documentaries that I expect everyone to have seen before next year's Sundance selections, where we also were able to guess a couple from this year when it came to the Oscars.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the Oscars shortlist, there was stuff like The Eternal Memory, stuff like A Still Small Voice that debuted here and made it all the way there. Did any of the actual nominees, I'm forgetting right now if any of the actual nominees debuted here. I think they did.
They did.
I'm just forgetting off the top of my head.
Or should have. Moving on to screenplays, we have our top 5 screenplays. I saw some people asking about this. If the winner from Sundance should have been the winner. Well, let me tell you. That at number 5, we have Dee by Sean Wang, a story that obviously feels very personal, but was told in such a great way because of its period piece, and definitely deserves a spot right here at number 5. We also have From a Different Man, Aaron Schimberg wrote it and directed the movie, and I thought did a fantastic job. I just love his sign-off, which is, I made one good movie, I made another one that didn't do well, but the critics kind of liked it, and I think I finally have something to say here. And the themes in the movie are very apparent in the script. Our top 3, though, go to Titus Kaphar. Again, Exhibiting Forgiveness is a powerful film. I thought he put his heart and soul into it. And if you wanted to see something tiny from him, check out his short film that he worked on, because it's kind of like a precursor to what this movie is about. Shut Up and Paint. Fantastic, fantastic script. But then our top 2, I'll mention it, y'all talk about it. Jane, yet again, coming up in the top 2 for their script for I Saw the TV Glow.
Yeah, so Jane Schoenbrunn, I think, and that's probably not fully, but so. Close enough. Yeah, the screenplay for this is just so poignant in so many ways. Like, when you watch it, it's very clear that it is relating to their personal experience and their kind of personal journey in terms of gender identity, but it can also be applied to a lot of other things as well, whether it's just your sexuality or anything else that you feel like you have to hide about yourself and not live your authentic life. So I do think it's really going to connect with the people that it needs to based on that script. And I think so much of what you end up seeing on screen had to start on the paper. For how tight it is, for how effectively it all comes together, I do think it really has to start with the screenplay, and they knocked it out of the park.
And we kind of have them swapped here. We have Jane at number 2, but they'll be number 1 very soon. Well, number 1 here had to go to the one and only Jesse Eisenberg. Zach, talk about why this is easily the best script of the fest.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just such an empathetic version of this story, one that has space and heart for all of its characters from all their different situations. And there's no characters here who kind of exist simply to be a foil or to be mocked or anything like that. It really is interested in everybody's story in a really open-hearted way. And it's a story that is one that's been impacted by generations, right? By history and by shared and personal traumas. And I just think, to articulate all that is pretty remarkable. And to do it also in a film that isn't dour, that isn't a complete depressing thing, that has lots of humor to it too.
I'm thankful for that. Yeah. So that is our best screenplays of the year. Just some really good stuff. There's a bunch of honorable mentions as well. But we're going to wrap up this section before some trivia with what we've been calling a shorts pause. Alina has gone through all freaking 8 categories of the shorts that are here at Sundance. That's her thing.
She's the hero.
Removed the winners. So she was going through all of the shorts, and anything that won got removed and became its own category. She scoped those out, got those as well. There are movies from an Obama here. There are movies from big filmmakers. None of those made your list. Tell me what did.
All right. On my top list, I have Bob's Funeral. It is a nonfiction short. It goes through... if you can open up that little tab. Yeah. It goes through Jack and his life with his grandfather and his father. I don't know if you remember, I binged all this director's shorts that were on Vimeo.
Oh, you're a big Jack Dunphy?
This one delivered just as well. So perfect. At my top today. The next one, also a doc. I was very surprised. So this one, they say there was an alien that was kind of discovered in a forest. There's a secret that's been kept for 30 years. This director goes and she kind of interviews people from the village, and it's actually a pretty big deal.
Okay.
So that one was very good. Hopefully people can catch that one.
This one won.
This one won. So did Bob's Funeral. If you open up the little toggle, I can tell you exactly what they won. So Bob's Funeral, the first one I mentioned at the top, won for the Nonfiction Short Film Jury Award. And then the masterpiece won for like the whole thing, the grand jury, like it won the whole thing. And very well so, because it deals with a wealthy couple. They are trying to recycle like an old TV, and then they meet 2 dudes. They're like, hey, we also have a washer and dryer at home. We have this at home. And then all of a sudden, as they're trying to pack stuff into their van, they're like, hey, what's that you have in your van that might be more valuable than everything we've given you? So that one kind of gets into the nitty gritty of class. The Looming was actually in the midnight short category, and this one deals with a guy, Chester, right? Yeah, Chester. He is using like an Alexa, it's called the Luna, and feels like they're like listening to certain things at home and realize that maybe it's their dementia, maybe it's not. Oh. So that one's also in the midnight category. They won. Yeah, Masha won for directing. And then my last one is called Bust. It is about a trans cop doing a bust in New York City. So they're all great films. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it for the shorts pause.
And just like we were talking about earlier with Dee Dee, that's a short filmmaker who just got nominated for an Oscar and is now here at Sundance with an incredible feature film. So these are the movies that you're going to want to watch to find out what the next great filmmaker might be.
Mm-hmm. Also a reminder that if you can't... You were saying?
They're not going to get that you're joking, though.
You know you're joking. We can't hear you.
You were saying,
well, I'm not sure my microphone is picking up as well as yours is.
So if it sounds like that, I think, then just be aware that we are recording this audio always in post-production. We put up the entire thing, so it sounds crispy, it sounds clear.
Producer Caitlin always has our back.
Always got us. So if there's any glitches there, hopefully for the most part you can see everything that's happening, but it's there. Trivia time.
Close your eyes.
You don't have to close your eyes this time. You actually have to hold your breath.
The Jeopardy theme?
Hold my breath.
All right, here we go. This is producer trivia. It's going to be very simple. I'm going to name you a producer. You are going to tell me what they have here at the fest. Super simple. Everybody loves producers. There are 2 options for this first one right here. I need you to tell me the 2 movies produced by Emma Stone and her husband David.
Well, one is I Saw the TV Glow, and I'm assuming the other one is going to be A Real Pain.
This man wasn't even waiting. He said a TV glow and a real pain. Do you by any chance know their company?
Is it something tree?
You're so close.
Tell me.
Fruit Tree.
There we go.
Yeah.
What is the movie produced by the one and only Coleman Domingo?
That would be It's What's Inside, the big sale of Sundance, $17 million.
Oh yeah.
And just like
Dude,
that,
I told
Zach's
you.
on top,
I told you. I
baby.
don't know. I don't pay attention to producers.
Let's go. Next up, there is one little movie here that people said it sounds like it came from him, but he's like, nah, I'm just a producer here. The boy, Darren Aronofsky made a movie.
Oh shit!
It's not a different man, is it? I thought it was different
No,
man.
it's something weird. It's not Presence.
Dang, that's all for 2. I'm gonna
I
give him
know.
one
I know
last
what it
chance.
is. I know what it is.
Any producers out in the audience?
No, I know what it is, and I just can't. It's. He was in the. He was literally. He was in the. He was there. It's not. I saw the TV Glow. Is it? It's not TV Glow.
Ain't nobody got it? 3,
Is it Pony Boy?
2, 1. After naming the entire lineup, no one said A Little Death.
Right,
Oh,
he was involved in
yeah.
that.
So I told you. I don't know. My brain doesn't do this kind of trivia. I'm a visual person.
Michael Fassbender produced the movie. This is easy.
Kneecap.
I think I got you.
Yeah, I think she
as
got
the
me
picture
like-
hand right there. He is also in the movie, so that's a pretty easy one right there. Y'all remember Carlos Lopez Estrada? He's done a
I
couple
do
of movies.
remember Carlos
What'd he
Lopez
do?
Estrada. He had a hand in Dee Dee. He was also a B camera operator.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Big camera.
Can I get you credit for that?
I do. I
You got a
do.
handshake for that one.
I do remember hearing when we. Hearing that when we noticed it.
All right, if I'm not mistaken, my score should go 4-3.
Really, you didn't do the one Margot Robbie?
I'll cut to it. What did Margot Robbie produce?
Wasn't it My Old Ass?
Yeah,
Wasn't that
I would have
production?
laughed if you freaking got that one wrong after
Really
asking for
funny,
it.
right? I was like, wasn't it My Old Ass?
Margot Robbie is become like a go-to producer. I mean, just
Yeah.
looking at this, Barbie, You Loved Saltburn,
Yeah.
I, Tanya from a couple years ago, Promising Young Woman from
Promising
Sundance.
Young Woman.
And I believe she's talked about doing less acting so she can do more producing.
After getting snubbed,
Yeah. I mean, look, she didn't get snubbed as a producer.
No, she did
she
not
did
get
not get
stubbed
snubbed as a producer. So there you go.
Yeah.
She did do My Old Ass. That is her big pickup of the fest, or technically brought it in. So that's another one.
Lucky chap,
for
I think.
Amanda
Oh,
that
you don't have
she
to give that to me. I
gave
just
herself-
I
No, it was
suggested
next.
that one. Oh, it
You
was
got it, you
next.
got it, you
Okay,
got it, you
I'm
got it.
sorry. I'm sorry, Zach.
Producer Derek Cianfrance was here, and if y'all were paying attention earlier,
Yeah. Shoot, this might have just left my mind. Because we were just watching it
just
too.
said it in the top 10 too. I told them there would be a pop quiz. They didn't even listen to me.
Yeah, no, I did
Yeah.
listen.
Just
Is it
keeping 'em all in
exhibiting
my
forgiveness?
By default, you got that one. Exhibiting Forgiveness, one of my favorites from the fest, comes from one of the best directors who doesn't do anything. Like, what was his last movie, dude?
Cianfrance, he did that Mark Ruffalo show where he was.
That's a
Twins.
show.
Right.
That's
yeah. What was-
he made an incredible movie here as producer, so I'm very happy for
His
that.
last movie, I believe, was A Light Between Worlds, or whatever that Lighthouse one was.
Yeah, with Fassbender.
Fassbender and
Ugh.
Vikander.
Okay, she is up by one right now, Zach. But it's still anyone's game by the end of this category right here. What did Ari Aster produce?
You already asked that.
Then
Little
you should know
Death?
the answer. Clearly didn't say it.
Different Man.
Ari
No?
Aster produced
Ari
one
Aster,
movie.
not little TV Glow.
Nope.
It's What's Inside.
Do 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 do.
I'll just throw Presents out there, even though I don't think it's Presents.
He likes showing penises in his movies.
Oh,
Sebastian.
yeah, he did Sasquatch Sunset.
Sasquatch Sunset, there you go.
Right. Oh my
And
God,
just
I
like
did
that,
know
we
that.
are
I
tied.
did know that one. I did know that
He
one.
obviously worked with the Zellners. He's done some good stuff
I'm gonna
with
be
the
honest.
team over there.
You said Ari Aster. My brain was like, we already did Aronofsky.
I told
So, like, what do we do?
Antoine Fuqua produced what movie that y'all saw today?
Was he on?
Girls Will Be Girls?
No, I think he
there's
was on
no
In the
way.
Summers, right?
Damn, very close. No.
What did we
No?
watch today? I
It is
only
a
watched two
premiere
things today.
feature film. Actually, I think you guys saw it yesterday. My bad. I thought it was today. Y'all saw this at some point in time.
Was it Rob Peace then?
There you go.
Oh, yeah, that was
He
yesterday.
is the
Oh,
big
that makes
name to
sense.
help
Yeah, that was
triage you
yesterday.
for what we consider it's probably going to be a big biopic, considering it comes from a book and everything.
Yeah.
I love this one. Amanda, I hope you get it, but Zach, you better get it. Too Short, the rapper, produced what?
Oh my God, Too Short the rapper produced Freaky Tales.
How do you know this?
Because Too Short's in Freaky Tales. It's about Too Short.
Oh, I know. I was very surprised when I found that out.
Well, part of it's about Too Short.
All right, if my calculations are correct, you guys are tied 6.
Nice.
Sixes.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I got 2 left right here. Don't
Goddamn.
get it twisted, y'all. No one of you guys is going to lose.
Okay. I don't like this
There
category.
is a documentary that was produced by Jamie Foxx and Colin Firth.
documentary Colin Firth.
Fox.
Coup d'etat?
And Colin Firth. That's a good guess. It's not the guess
It's
here.
the greatest night in pop.
That sounds more like it, right?
Right.
It is a song.
The song one. Oh my God, this sucks because you're gonna get it now. It's the rap one, a voice, a something voice.
As we speak.
As we speak.
Is not the
Okay,
answer.
cool, good. I'd feel really embarrassed.
Just give it to us.
Luther, Never Too Much.
Oh,
They are both
there we
talking
go.
Haven't
heads
seen
in it
that one.
as
That's
well.
fun, okay.
And they do a good little tribute to him. Final one, See If We Leave. Tied at 6s. In one go. I was surprised to see this producer on this movie, Joel Edgerton.
Yeah.
Joel Edgerton.
Whoever guesses this earns it.
A different man.
Zach?
It's not that. It's something that doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't really match the Joel Edgerton vibe.
Is it TV Glow? No.
It's on the screen for people. Not for you. Don't look. It is a documentary.
Oh, it's a doc. Okay.
5, 4
No, I was
3,
gonna say like Mugai or something
2,
until you said documentary.
daughters.
Daughters.
The man came in here
Oh.
and created a masterpiece.
Oh, I
Zach.
like that. Okay, we end with a
Contributed
tie.
to.
We end with a tie. We end
We
with
are,
a tie.
There we go.
We end with a tie right there as we move on to the
I was
going to
say there was
categories.
way more questions about my brain than me looking at pictures and being able to be like, that's this one.
I told you I wasn't going to have too many pictures because I figured that was probably going to be the most difficult one to have there. But next year, I promise, clips.
There we go.
I might even have some audio in there. Who knows?
If they release clips.
At that point. All right, let's jump into the big stuff right here. We have the lead actors. Let's just get into it. We have 10 top performances of this year. And the first one comes from a little movie called Love Lies Bleeding, where I'm going to let Amanda take it away, why Kristen Stewart as Lou deserves to be on the top spot. And I'm my boy Sebastian.
Oh, you are gonna let me. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I think that there is so much in that performance that is Kristen Stewart that works so well. Like there's reactions that had the whole crowd just being like, that was such an authentic reaction. I do think it's a really moving performance in a lot of ways. I think she's doing a lot with the performance. I think there was areas that could have been phoned in a little bit more that it wasn't. So I needed her in this category. You know, that's why she's the bottom. I wasn't going to fight to put her over Kieran Culkin, but like I wanted her in the category.
Hey, it's Group Picks. We listen here, and I figured the bottom.
do.
The bottom would have worked, you know?
The bottom
I don't
works.
think she minds being on.
I don't think she minds.
At number 9, we have Pony Boy themselves, River Gallo as Pony Boy. They wrote the script of the short, produced that. Now stars wrote and just carried it away in this one. Also from New Jersey, like you were saying, Zach.
Let's
what
go.
resonated with you in River's performance when they weren't
Jersey
opposite
they.
Dylan O'Brien?
I think they were just very authentic in the role, and I mean, it makes sense given the situation. But like, particularly a film like this one that is trying to be a bit more gritty, trying to be a bit more street level. I think if you don't believe that these characters have gone through these experiences or can actually speak to these types of experiences, then it just whole movie falls apart. And they're surrounded by stars we know and love, but they were the thing I think that leapt out of the film the most, which is also a testament to just doing a great job in the role.
Yeah, absolutely.
Easily. Yeah. Another one that completely embodied it, but
Yeah.
we knew he was going to, as the character of Terry Goon. Jacob Early in Stress Positions, I keep saying
John.
is, what did I say?
Jacob.
John Early in
John Jacob.
Jingle John Smith.
Yeah.
He was a cartoon character in this. He was a Looney
So
Tune through
good.
and through. Zach argued for him in terms of makeup because he is sweating every single time. He is like, he's
It's
walking
the
crooked.
physicality.
Yeah.
It's the physicality,
It's-
absolutely, yeah. Because he's got like a back injury or like a knee issue, and he's so overwhelmed. And I think it does a great job of both sort of trying to elicit sympathy, but not being worthy of a lot of
Pathetic.
sympathy.
Like, really, the observation is how pathetic of a man
Yeah,
can someone
truly.
be? This next one right here, coming in at 10,987, comes from the movie In the Summers. It's the character of Vicente, played by Jesse.
How did Residente get back that high up the list when Residente was knocked off the list at
I
one
think
point?
the awards might be rigged.
I
the
knocked
odds
them out.
might be-
Y'all ain't give me any, but I said Sasquatch. Y'all said they're just in suits.
Yeah, no, but we had Residente off the list. So
I
how
said
did he
top
get
10,
back in
9, 8,
7?
7, 6, 5. Yeah, you're right. He actually should not be in there. Residente, I'm sorry. I try. They stopped the count on me. Shout out Residente.
Tried to make 11 into 10, huh?
Yeah.
I tried doing magic.
You
He
can
got
sneak
4
that in.
sequences out of his movie.
He was
I'm
good,
sorry.
though. He was good, though.
June Squibb
Yes.
for Thelma, the one and only star of her movie in her mid 90s.
94.
Oh, whoa.
Mid 90s. First performance she's ever been in. She's EP, doing all of her own stunts. Stand up performance.
Oh,
Favorite stunt?
Favorite what?
Stunt?
I'm flipping over the mattress, which we talked about. She
Yeah.
looks clean.
good.
Walking away from the explosion. It's very Liam Neeson.
Next up, Jesse Eisenberg in our number 6 spot for acting as David in A Real Pain. Again, I'm arguing for his Sasquatch role, but he'll take it away. He'll take it away.
I just think it's a role that uses the things that Jesse Eisenberg has become known for, that sort of like tightly wound nature, but doing it in a way that deepens your understanding of the character and really just I don't know, feels really real. Like it's not just that he's tightly wound. He has his moments where he's able to kind of like let his shoulders drop, but I found him to be incredibly believable and incredibly emotional in the film.
kind of a version of himself.
But that's
Sure, but it's
But he
more
plays it
than
well,
that.
yeah.
It is more than that. Yeah.
For a different man, we have Sebastian Stan in the role of Edward.
Which he is so convincing we didn't realize it was him for about half an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, I literally thought that they had gotten Adam to do the part, somehow magically got rid of his accent, and then we find out
dubbed
no.
it or something.
Dubbed it. Yeah.
So this man is acting through all of those prosthetics, and I think this is a role where you really see it in the eyes for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
So Sebastian Stan there in our number 5 spot.
No, I was just gonna say it's another one of those roles where sometimes you see actors who are like, oh, how it's so hard to act under all the makeup, but like if you know what you're doing, you can do
He
it.
also does have a physical, or he walks a lot like
Yes,
this
exactly.
until he starts getting his like charisma up. But yeah,
That was the
that's
other
fair.
thing
Full
too,
body
because I was
performance.
like, he's taller now, but
Yeah.
it's because he wasn't
There
doing
you
this
go.
anymore. You know.
Speaking of the schlumps out there, Jason freaking Schwartzman
Yeah.
as Ben in Between the Temples. I mean, the man's got it all. He had a fantastic year last year.
He's
and
on an
now
incredible run.
he's on a run through and through, and I think he gives a really good performance here. Also, really helped and complemented by its cinematography, who I know is a now turned director who you really
Sean
enjoy.
Price Williams, absolutely shot in 16 millimeter. It's beautifully done.
Just to capture like these little moments in these very tight places, I think that really helps out.
Yeah. I wanted to bring it up for editing and cinematography. I just feel like I didn't feel like I would have a lot of support.
You got to argue for
Yeah.
it, but hey, there it is.
There we
it
go.
is right
Now
there.
you got it. Now you know.
Now you
Got
got
it
it.
in.
Yeah.
We got our top 3 right here. For I Saw the TV Glow, the character of Owen played by Justice Smith.
It's so good. Like again, that's another one. There's a physicality to the role, just a way he's talking that's all like kind of withdrawn on himself, that he almost doesn't have the confidence to say words out loud properly.
The performance reminded me a lot of Joaquin Phoenix and Bowen is Afraid, because
Yes.
they both in certain respects
Better.
feel like hollowed out shells of humans.
Yes, there's actually a line that like kind of alludes to
Yeah.
that feeling that way,
Exactly.
which is a very poignant line, and it's kind of delivered in such a casual way that it's kind of scary, but like.
Yeah.
It hits. Like
Yeah.
so much of this movie hits, and so much of that is because of how Owen is playing the role.
Justice.
Justice is playing the role of Owen. Same person, but it's just really, really, really incredible performance there that carries so much of the movie as you're kind of locked in with him the entire time.
Had another
Them
movie where
entire
the
time.
interviews weren't great and almost gave a America Ferrera Barbie speech, but he was great in this one,
Yeah.
especially that party scene. Top 2. I'm going all in at number 2. Excuse me. Exhibiting for it's almost making me
I was gonna say you're gassy. You're
Andre
so
Holland
excited.
as the character of Terrell in Exhibiting Forgiveness is a powerful performance that really has him going through just I don't even know how much history for the man. Being able to play not only among some greats in the supportings for who plays his parents, but even interacting with his younger self through his art. Andre Holland as Terrell, one of the best performances of the festival.
One of those dudes who brings so much pathos to pretty much any role that he inhabits, but this one in particular, you really need to have that dramatic heft to bring in that sense that this is a person with history, a person who's carrying different traumas into this moment that we're watching, and he's incredible in the film.
So our number 2 goes to Andre Holland, and somehow this little bugger, this little rat, just won our hearts again. Kieran Culkin as Benji in A Real Pain. Stole it. Just stole it. Got the Emmy. and
Another
now can
classic. Screw you, Pedro.
Honestly,
Mine.
yeah, it's just him. Honestly, in all the roles that he's in, he's wearing all of the what's it called, the wristbands that he wears and everything else. But yet he's able to just maneuver being serious and then just finding these like almost nonchalant moments. There's no way that they wrote it, but then it almost like leads to another point where it's just like, how did he do it so fluidly to interact with these characters that leads to the next plot point? And then you hear how they worked on it and how he was just impromptu. It was all impromptu for him when he appeared. filming on location and all this, I can't imagine the stress on Jesse. I think he almost stressed Jesse out the way that the
he
cousin would
did.
have stressed him out.
Yeah, there's some
Yeah.
better quality to that for sure. But Culkin is so good. He's so loose and mercurial, and it's got a bit of that Roman Roy energy, but it has more heart to it too. It's an incredible performance. He's so watchable.
So our number one performance of this year, Kieran Culkin, on a full run.
Easy
there.
pick.
All right, we're down to our final two categories. Zach, take it away with
Yeah.
the best directors.
Let's run through them. Number 5 on our list. I know you wanted to give that shout out to Titus Kaphar, the feature directorial debut. And yeah, Exhibiting Forgiveness. I mean, it's a really thoughtfully made film for sure. Yeah. Above them, we got Nathan Zellner and David Zellner, the brothers who brought us Sasquatch Sunset. It is such a peculiar film and such a unique endeavor that I feel like it's worth giving them this slot in director, because there's like so little to emulate to have made this, right? Like
Absolutely.
so much of it has to just originate from your brain, and that they were able to pull off a feature-length version of whatever this is an achievement all of its own.
Truly.
So, we got Sean Wong, the other feature directorial debut
As
here
it
that
should
we're
be.
celebrating. Dee Dee, an incredible coming-of-age story that just is firmly planted in 2008 in a way that just like
We love
brought
it.
all of these memories rushing up. It's so well done, but also just really captures the awkwardness and conflicted nature of going through the coming of age.
Future
Yeah.
Oscar winner, baby. Let's
Yeah,
go.
let's
let's
go.
go.
We did want to give another shout out to Jesse Eisenberg for A Real Pain, because it is one of the best films that we saw here, and I think he does such an incredible job of handling it all. But we gave him the screenwriting category. We're giving someone else the director category.
Rightfully so.
Jane Schoenbrunn for I Saw the TV Glow. Just such a complete thought in a lot of
Yes.
ways, such a dense text, and it's one of those films that you see and you can't help but reckon with the vision. Like it's such a clear voice coming through.
Yeah, there's no denying that. So that's why we have to give it the nod to director, in my opinion, because it is just the direction that keeps it all together so effectively, and so exciting to have caught it here.
Those are our best directors. And now we wrap it up with Intercut's best Sundance movie. We appreciate everyone who's in the chat. We saw Celluloid. Somebody was talking about Dee Dee being their favorite, hoping they get distributor. Wiley, shout out Wiley, talking about how they love Kneecap and Thelma. Jose talking about Sujo. Just a lot of really good picks out there. So let's talk about what our top 5 are. I'm going to give the 3. We'll go 2, and Amanda names 1. Amanda should probably mention this one. It's What's Inside, making our top 5 of the festival. If there's a movie that's going to come out and do a big splash, it's going to be this one, and you are guaranteed to get it because it's going to be playing on Netflix. It's going to kill on Netflix.
Which is depressing.
But y'all need to see it in theaters.
If
At
they
number
market it
5.
well. If they market it well.
If they
Look at all the
market it
stuff
well.
that they spend a bunch of money on that they don't market.
This should be this year's Talk to Me, and hopefully y'all do your part and go out and see it.
Go see it. Well, sit at home and see it.
Or stay at home and
You
see
gotta
it.
stay at home and see it.
And number 4, it's coming from A24 and probably is the movie of the fest. Everyone was out here in line in the wait list. It was selling out like crazy. I Saw the TV Glow. Y'all were mentioning that this is going to be the movie that defines this year as it's Donnie Darko,
Yep.
as the one that people are like, this is the one that did something different. We
Yep.
got something new from here, and it's going to influence so many other filmmakers to come.
These are reverse alphabetical order, we should point out, because our number 1 is not our number 1 favorite of the festival.
That's
Aren't doing this in alphabetical.
Reverse alphabetical now.
Okay. That makes so much more sense then.
I was gonna say I should have.
All right.
Oopsie.
I will take. I'm just going to continue with that. Dee Dee is another one in reverse alphabetical order that we think also really spoke for the festival in terms of it being in the U.S. competition, the way that it was able to reflect back on the early 2000s. A lot of movies did 90s and 2000s. Dee Dee did it beautifully.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the films that we've selected here, something like I Saw the TV Glow is coming from Jane Schoenbrunn, who's previously been at Sundance. It's What's Inside is like this exciting horror debut, but I think the thing that Sundance is perhaps best known for are these filmmakers who are making very personal films as their debut, and that being like a launching point. And to me, even if it isn't necessarily the #1 film of Sundance, this is like the Sundance movie of 2024. It's
That's
either
fair.
this or
Yeah,
I
no,
saw
I
the
get
TV
that.
Glow.
Yep.
It's either that or what you're saying next, which is
A Real Pain coming from Jesse Eisenberg, which we keep talking about because it's worthy in so
two-time
many
Intercut
categories.
Award winner, just so you know.
Exactly. I mean, we all really love the film. You'll hear more. You can hear more about it in our review or when we publish that top 10 of Sundance video. And yeah, I mean, it's an incredible film. Personally, like the only reason why I would maybe not have gone with it in the U.S. dramatic category is because it is Jesse Eisenberg who comes in having made a film, having the connections,
unfair,
being
but
friends with Emma Stone. Like
For sure.
A Real Pain is a little bit different than Dee Dee, even if I maybe at the end of the day liked A Real Pain more, and I'm glad we have it in our top 5 here. But first alphabetically,
I will just say A Real Pain. I know you see somebody like Jesse Eisenberg and you want to say they only got it because of who they are. No, we've seen movies like that come out in the last little bit. Pool Man is that movie. Don't watch it. This was a really good movie and it deserves to exist and it deserves what it got.
Here.
It deserves to be here at this festival. But in our first alphabetical of the fest, we decided to go with A Different Man because it did kind of wrap up so many of our categories as we were going. It got mentioned a lot. There is a lot going for this movie. It has a lot of strengths and I think it's really smart. I saw some comments saying that there was nothing really going on underneath the surface. There cannot be anything further from the truth.
Keep that shit on TikTok.
Literally, there is something going
like
on
going
beneath
into
the
a
surface.
cemetery saying there's nothing underground.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like there's like physically and literally and metaphorically there is so much going on underneath. So it is a really strong movie. It's really smart. It's also very funny with how it handles it when it kind of amps up, I guess, when it amps up in certain areas towards the end. So
It is the most A24 neon A24 movie that there is out there. So going in order, because of course I did it, to reverse facilitate it. We had in no particular order our top 5 biggest movies out of Sundance: A Different Man, A Real Pain, Dee Dee, Zach.
I saw the TV Glow.
It's What's Inside.
There we go.
All of the movies and all of the categories and still a top 10 and then still a whole recap. So many more stuff dealing with the Sundance Film Festival to still talk with you guys. But we have a screening to catch right now. So after covering all of these categories, you can catch more from me over at LME Movies on Twitter, on Facebook, all that good stuff. Or every week here on the Intercut Podcast, where you can also find
at Zshevich, or I also do stuff at Multiplex Show, and occasionally we're joined by
Amanda the Jedi, which is where you can find me on all sorts of social medias. Amanda the Jedi.
You can find us every week here on the Intercut Podcast, where we talk movies, all this Sundance stuff, all that good things. Just hit us up on social media, hit us up down below. But before we go, it's a tie. I need to know, guys, what's the #1 movie in the 40 years of Sundance? Go.
It was Whiplash.
Thank you so
As
much.
voted on by critics, but it
As
should be
voted-
sexualized in videotapes.
As
Come on.
voted in by me. I have it right
Whiplash.
here. It is real.
It's my #1.
It is solidified. #1.
Number
Whiplash,
one.
baby. That's all you need to know.
There you
So
go.
for to another 40 years. We'll see you then. Woo! Take care.